Hey, you guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. And today I'm sharing my personal finance system with you. So these are very intentional money habits that I've practiced over time, and I've seen it work with others. So I'm confident that they will work for you too. All right, first and most importantly, maintaining a monthly budget is something that I do every single month. Now, my husband Winston and I, we look at our budget really throughout the week and then for sure before the month begins. And then we start intentionally planning out how we're going to spend our income. So not only do we plan together, but we also communicate with each other, again, throughout the month as we track our spending. So we plan and track and talk to each other pretty constantly as the month goes on to make sure that we are on the same page. Now, in the beginning, this looks really different. So for example, if you're just starting to budget and track your spending with your spouse, it might take a little bit longer to actually sit down, look at everything, put numbers down. And again, that discussion may be longer at first. And if you're single, I'll warn you, it may take you a few months of trial and error before you really get into a rhythm. But whatever your situation is, think about putting some helpful parameters around this process. So for instance, if you have little kids that love to scream like mine all day long, maybe you wait till they go to bed before you start talking about money. Or maybe if you need like that push to really get through it, like reward yourself with like a movie and a glass of wine at the end and say, okay, for the next hour, let's hash these details. Then we're gonna stop this at 8 o'clock and start a movie, right? Whatever you have to do to get through the process, especially if you're first starting out, do it. And if you've never gotten on the same page with your spouse when it comes to money, just know it takes some time and there's a groove and some habits you kind of get in the rhythm of, but I promise it's going to be worth it. And before long, hopefully, you'll be like me and Winston. And the other day he just shouted through the kitchen because he wanted to order some nice steaks. And he was like, just take it out of the date night line item of our budget. And I was like, got it. So that's how we talk about money now. But again, that's after 14 years of doing this. But we constantly are like, hey, FYI here, a text here. And we're constantly in the groove of what is going on with our money. And that's the great thing about using the budgeting app, EveryDollar. This is one that we use, and it is so great because you can have joint sign-on. So I have my login information, and he just uses that login information on his phone, and it syncs up, and we know exactly where things going. We track all of our expenses, so we see how much is left in each category. It is so, so helpful when it comes to looking at your budget. So make sure to check out EveryDollar. If you don't have it, it's incredible. All right, the second part of my personal finance system is giving. So I love generosity so much, and I really believe it should be part of everyone's financial plan, regardless of where you are. Now, if this isn't something that you've thought about in the past, again, this is not to embarrass you or shame you, but I wanted you to know that, giving is not a habit that a lot of people have. And I think a lot of Americans feel like, gosh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I don't have the margin to give. So I would encourage you to make this a priority when it comes to your budget, like the very top, like make it one of the first categories. Because not only does giving help you have just more gratitude for what you have, but I really do believe there's a level of you reap what you sow, meaning when you live with an open hand, there is something about knowing that you're not just fully in control of every single little thing and you're just living life for you. But when you're able to help people and find the joy in that selfless mentality of giving your money, it does something to you. There is a joy that comes in that doesn't come from anything you can buy. So I always tell people to give a little until you can give a lot. And so we started out giving 10% of our income, which we do every single month for a tithe to our church. And then we also have a couple other places that we give. Some places we donate, twice a year. Sometimes it's monthly, depending on what we're giving to. But giving has become a rhythm in our lives. And I would encourage you to do the same because it's an incredible thing, not only to help people, but just to have this level of peace and joy that giving really does bring. All right, real quick, you guys, I want to talk to you about Telestrations. So Telestrations is one of my favorite games right now. And I love it because I've played it with friends, I've played it with family, and it's always a good time. It always makes people laugh. So if you think about the old school game of telephone and then add Pictionary in the mix, that is Telestrations. So make sure to start creating memories today by playing a game with your family. And I would play Telestrations. So you can buy Telestrations at Walmart or wherever you buy board games. All right, the third part of my personal finance system is saving and investing. So these things usually go hand in hand. But one thing that we started doing is just setting money aside that we plan to invest each month and then taking the full year's amount and investing it into the market within the first 3 months of the new year. So meaning we try to max out our retirement at the beginning of the year so it has the full calendar year for growth. Now, I know not everyone is going to be in a situation where they can do that by any means. We are on baby step 7. We've been doing this for 14 years, you guys. So we don't have debt. We've paid off our house. Like all of that is taken care of and we have savings. So again, we kind of have that margin, that flexibility to be able to do this, which is really helpful. And I know not everyone is at that place, so do not worry, but that's just something that we do. Now, we also work with an investment professional, which is so helpful. So I really highly recommend that you guys do that as well. And you can check out our Ramsey Trusted Smart Investor Pros, and they are a great investing resource for you. So go to ramseysolutions.com/trusted to get connected today. Now, as far as savings goes, we have saved our 6-month, honestly, it's kind of more like 9 months just because I want some extra padding in there for our emergency fund. And we have that in a high yield savings account. And then we started another sinking fund. So we have put money aside every single month in just savings that we know that we're going to use either for vacations or when Christmas comes around that we can pull from that. Just anything big that is going on, we put in the sinking fund. And in fact, we've grown it for almost 4 or 5 years. And we're actually planning to put in a pool next year. But we're looking at that sinking fund knowing, okay, this is where a big chunk of that money is going to come from. But we also have to make sure everything else in our life is accounted for. So I love sinking funds. And again, we just have one big one for me and Winston. But for some people, they love having individual sinking funds. And I'm thinking about my friend, George Camel. He does it this way, him and his wife, Whitney, where he has like a car replacement and a vacation. He has multiple funds that are sinking funds per category, where again, Winston and I kind of just lump everything in. So whatever works for you, I think you do what's best for you. But that is another place, again, to have savings. And both of those accounts for us, again, are in a high yield savings account. And with interest being higher right now, not only on debt, but also in savings, it's been a great place to park money and actually our money making money, which is very nice too. All right, the fourth and last part of my personal finance system is automated payments. So keep in mind, less is more when it comes to payments that are automatically coming out of your account every single month. So we kind of keep it at a minimum for the most part because we want to feel the money that we're choosing to spend. And when you actually spend it, even when it comes out of your checking account, you really feel it. We're like, oh my gosh, I have to make this transaction. It hurts a little bit. But there are certain expenses that are going to come out every single month, regardless of whether what we choose, again, mostly our needs. So it's really helpful to do this. And there's usually a small discount that applies or a processing fee that gets waived when you participate in automatic payments for basic utilities. So things like water, electricity, gas, internet, your mortgage, or HOA payments, all of that can be automated. So be strategic about when the best time of those automatic payments come out of your checking account because you need to think about when you get paid. So if you get paid once a month, the beginning of the month, then I recommend scheduling those payments as close to payday as you can so that you can see a realistic view of how much money is left for the rest of the month for you to use. If you get paid twice a month, maybe you tackle your rent or your mortgage with the first paycheck, and then all the smaller fees happen with the second paycheck hits. Now, most companies will allow you to decide when you make payments every single month, so it never hurts to ask, so ask them. And EveryDollar, the budgeting app I was telling you about, EveryDollar Premium has a feature called Paycheck Planning. And this is an incredible feature that helps with this because you can actually put in when you get paid, when payments are due of these automatic payments, and you're able to see, okay, how much money is getting taken out per paycheck? Am I gonna have enough money for that week's groceries? So it helps you plan out everything and it is fantastic. But for the debt that you're tackling with the debt snowball method, don't automate this. You wanna be able to throw any and all extra money at it as you're paying off that debt. You wanna feel that momentum. So whatever kind of feels daunting to you about handling money, I promise getting a budget is the first step. So send this video to a friend who may need some personal finance inspiration and help them get on track. And as always for you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.